News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Well, in just moments, we're going to be checking in. Throughout the night, we're going to be checking in with the town hall with Trump and Hannity. It is moments away. We are going to pop in and out throughout the night on it, and we'll be going live in and out as the press conference, not the press conference, but the town hall happens. It's about to start, and we'll chime in right away as soon as it gets in there. And of course, you and I will react momentarily. But the thing is, by the way, 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Chris Krok Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make that a preset. Again, the number is 800-288-WBAP. Polling is not going well for Kamala. It continues to look bad. The revered leftist pollster Nate Silver has even worse numbers on Kamala's chances of winning. The crowd going wild right now in real time as Trump walks in and it's been introduced. Why is there a town hall tonight with Shawn Hannity on Fox News in Pennsylvania with a massive arena packed full of people? Why? I will tell you why. It is because Kamala refused to agree to a debate on Fox News for tonight. This is amazing. There is an arena that is unbelievably jam-packed with President Trump folks that are supporting, and I don't know if there's going to be independents. I certainly hope there will be. So some of the topics are Kamala's flip-flops. It's unbelievable, the latest, what she's flip-flopped on, and it's insane, actually, and she has no reason why she's flip-flopped. She just has people anonymously say it to the media or releases a paper statement literally on every single thing she has flip-flopped. Okay, so let's chime in right now on the Fox News town hall with Shawn Hannity and Donald J. Trump when there was supposed to be a debate. Here we go.
So I think we're going to be very well set up to do a great job. And do we love Pennsylvania? Do we love it? Let me ask you. Mr. President, let me ask you this.
All right, this is at an arena in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, an exclusive town hall tonight on Fox News with Trump
tough interview.
and Hannity on the night they were supposed to have a debate.
We did great in 2016. We did much better in 2020. We got millions of more votes. But there has never been enthusiasm like we have now. I mean, I see it all over. There's never been anything.
And I'm going to tell you that we'll kind of jump in and out because the crowds and the roars. I'm going to tell you this. Pennsylvania is totally going Trump's way, according to revered pollster Nate Silver. And I'm talking revered by the left. And he is doing the 4-alarm fires, etc. For example, Nate Silver today tweeted this out. And here's what it says. In addition to Pennsylvania, Michigan has become something of an issue for Harris. National polls and polls of other swing states mostly decent for Harris, but erosion in Pennsylvania and Michigan hurts a lot in his model. And today, his Michigan polls are in there, and you have, interesting, they show five, he shows 5 polls. No, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Trump is leading in 3 out of 5 of them. And then he shows another one in continuing on, I guess, and it's kind of 4 Harris, 1 Trump. But also, when you go up today, here's the update. He says, Silver says, there's room to debate the convention bounce stuff, but Harris has been getting a lot of mediocre state polls lately. The chance of Harris winning the popular vote but losing the Electoral College has now risen to 18%. Yesterday, Silver gave Trump, I believe, a 14% chance of actually winning the election with the Electoral College. Today, it's risen an additional 4 points roughly to 18 percentage points. Let's chime back into to Trump.
If they won, you'd have not 20 million, you'll have 100 million people. You won't have Social Security, you won't have Medicare, you won't have anything. Already, if you take a look at the numbers, they're filling up and loading up Social Security, Medicare with illegal immigrants that have come into our country, many of them from jails and many of them from very bad places. And we're not going to destroy our country, Shawn.
I'm going to play Kamala Harris and the comments that she has made about the border, because I think this is important. I want to play her in her own words about this. You're right. We have people, almost 11 million plus. We don't know how many gotaways there are. We have hundreds of known terrorists that have entered the country. We don't know what countries they've come from. We're allowing people in. They've come in from Iran, Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, China, tens and tens of thousands, Russia, Venezuela. I don't think they're coming here because they want a better life, as maybe some other people are. And we know nothing about them. We haven't vetted them. I scroll the names often on this show of people that have been murdered, people that have been raped, people victims of violent crime. And this is all happening by unvetted Harris Biden illegal immigrants. What is I can play your tape. I'll play that maybe after your answer, but what is your reaction to you've spoken to some of the families of loved ones.
I said at the beginning, I heard they were going to have open borders. They want open borders. She wants open borders. Now she's all of a sudden saying, I think we'll close the borders. She was the border czar, whether you like it or not. But even if you don't want to use that term, she was in charge of the border. It's the worst border in the history of the world, not just here. There's never been a country that allowed 21 million people to come in over a 3-year period. There's never been. And 21 million people, many of whom are from prisons, many of whom are murderers and drug dealers and child traffickers. And by the way, women traffickers. Women trafficking is the biggest, and they're traffickers in women. And they're coming in now, and they're putting them in our Social Security accounts, and they're putting them in our Medicare. And just one thing, if you take a look over the last week. I said this was going to happen, and it's happening because these people are tougher than our criminals. Our criminals are nice people by comparison. That's the only good thing. We're showing how nice our criminals are. They came from 22 people recently came from the Congo in Africa. Where do you come from? Prison. What did you do? We refuse to say. We're letting everybody in. We're letting everybody in. Take a look at Aurora in Colorado, where Venezuelans are taking over the whole town. They're taking over buildings, the whole town. And the sheriff, who can blame them? I mean, they have AK-47s. You saw it the other day. They're knocking down doors and occupying apartments of people. The people are petrified. And it's getting worse and worse. You look at New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and now you look at all over the place. You take a look at Iowa, Idaho, places that never had the problem. They're pouring in. 21 million people, that's bigger than New York. And we have to stop it. And we have to do the largest deportation in the...
There you go. Okay. So we're going to continue to chime in throughout the night on the town hall because Kamala refused to debate Trump on Fox News. The only debate is Tuesday, 6 days from now, and she is preparing, locking herself up, cloistering away. Will it be a failure or disaster? We don't know. I think there's a good chance she will do moderately poorly, and she's already on a collision course to lose. It's slow but steady, and pollster Nate Silver has more stuff that just came out. I'm going to share with you next about how badly things are going according to him. And again, he's a Democrat. He is not a Republican, not a conservative. And he apparently is right a lot, according to the Democrat people. That's why they read the tea leaves with him and pay attention closely. You hear the debate about illegal immigration going on, or the discussion on the town hall, and it is absolutely correct. Kamala said she laughed at the idea of deporting all of her illegals. Those are her illegals. Why would she deport them? But she laughed when asked about how are you going to deport 12 million illegals, she said. said. No worries. Trump says, hold my beer. And the country wants that to happen. It's about a 56% or higher support of deportation. It's roughly the same for how many people want the wall to be built. Now, that woman has changed on everything, has not explained herself. In fact, most of it she's never even said herself, nor has she even signed a piece of paper saying it. It's surrogates anonymously doing it. We're going to talk about that later. Your reaction to Trump and his town hall so far, and him doing it tonight instead of Kamala having a debate because she wants to hide. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chime in right now. 800-288-9227. How do you feel about Trump's policies on illegal immigration versus Kamala's? Who do you trust more to get rid of these illegals and protect us and keep us safe and stop our border from being a sieve for illegals all over the world? That is next. Lines wide open. Chime in right now. 800-288-WBAP. 800-288-9227. And as well, you'll hear the latest from the pollster Nate Silver, and it is bad news for Kamala. Very bad news overall, and not getting better. Also up next, the Georgia school shooting. We have more information, and they've got the guy in custody. He's 14. Guess what? FBI and local sheriff was in touch with them over a year ago. Yes, always. You check in, let them kill us, and then you go get them. Good job, guys. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. Chris Krok Show. Okay, we're going to continue to chime in and out of the town hall with President Trump live on Fox News since Kamala blew off the debate on Fox tonight. He is doing it with Hannity. And let's go live for a minute or two again.
Bernie Sanders, that would cost $93 trillion. We don't know if she stands by that. We don't know if she supports Medicare for all. That would eliminate all private health insurance. We don't know if she would really ban fracking. Now, in the CNN interview, she said, well, I said in 2020 that, I would not ban fracking. CNN had to fact check her and say, no, she never said it. This is what she really said.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yes.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes. And I've, again, worked on that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a better businessman than I am. Isn't energy, fracking, oil the lifeblood of the world's economy?
So the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania cannot even take a chance because that's the real opinion from her. Now, the whole country would go down the tubes if you didn't do the fossil fuel thing. It just would go. And you can do all sorts of other things. But, Germany tried it, and it lasted for about 9 months, and they were going to go down the tubes entirely. And somebody else came in. And
all right, we're going to keep chiming in and out, and I want you to comment at will on the debate, not the debate that didn't happen tonight, the town hall. This is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the critical state of Pennsylvania. In fact, Trump now knows that right now he is favored to win Pennsylvania. He is favored to win Georgia and North Carolina. He has never lost every time he's run, and he will not lose it this time, I firmly believe. And then we had the damning news from MSNBC News political head Steve Kornacki yesterday that I shared with you. He said if Trump wins Georgia and Pennsylvania, he wins the election. And I do believe that's what's going to happen. And I do believe you have to understand what he just talked about there with Pennsylvania and fracking. 5% of every job in Pennsylvania is around fracking. 5% of every single job. Can you imagine 1 in 20 being told your job is now threatened in one state? 1 out of 20. That means everybody knows somebody who is going to lose their job if Kamala becomes the president. And she can lie and say she's for fracking now, but nobody believes her because she was for fracking. She never said she was she was never for fracking. She lies and says, I said I was for fracking in 2020. You did not. You said Joe was twice. CNN fact-checked you and said it was a lie. I played that on the air. I've played what you said. You never said you changed your view. In fact, you never have, and you never will. You're a liar, and everybody knows it. You have no character, and everybody knows it. If you did, well, you know what you do, Kamala? You told us who you are. In your one interview that was 16 and a half minutes, 47 days, one interview for 16 and a half minutes, and you told us that your values haven't changed. And every day of your life as an adult in politics, you have publicly said you want to ban fracking, you're against it, you co-sponsored a new Green Deal bill, you are a radical environmentalist. You sued the Obama administration to stop fracking in California as the AG. We know who you are. Your thoughts on the town hall tonight and my comments, your reaction to this. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Meantime, we have a school shooting today, another school shooting. And I really want to get into this. So we now know it was a 14-year-old. We now know he's a special needs student. At least, let me say this. I want to correct that. He went in and targeted a special needs classroom. As one of the victims now, according to his own mother, is autistic 14-year-old Mason Schmerhorn. He has been identified as a victim. A special ed math teacher, David Phoenix, was the one ID'd as being shot twice but alive. 3 other individuals killed have not yet been identified. Schmerhorn's mother confirmed he had passed. Family shared a photo on social media, which this is on my Twitter feed, along with audio from the classroom. Afterwards, they're evacuating people. If he is escalated, please use a calm voice with him, a family member said. Horrific. Here we go.
Out right here after this deputy. Hurry up now, come on, let's go. We got a whole school to get evacuated, people. Come on now.
That's just one classroom being evacuated. Now, let me tell you something. And I've got more audio from kids, and none of it's good. And Joe Biden today and Kamala came out and said they want to take away our guns, that they believe the answer, this is gun violence, not people violence, not terroristic violence, not evil violence or homicidal violence. It's guns. And we have to take away our guns. The lawful people like you and me is what they said today. Kamala said it and Joe Biden said it. So I want to ask you about this. Do you think, by the way, a year ago in May of 2023, the FBI found out and caught an online school shooting threat from this kid. From this 14-year-old who now will be charged as an adult. He was 13 years old. He had pictures of his guns in his house, and he threatened to shoot up the school. FBI caught it, called the sheriff's department where this happened, an hour northeast of Atlanta, and in Winder, Georgia, not Winder, as people have been saying. And they reported, the FBI, the sheriff visited, and guess what happened? I will tell you next. My questions are, do you think this is gun violence, as Joe and Kamala said today, as if the guns are committing the violence, or do you think this is people committing violence, gun violence, or people committing violence? And what do you think the answer is to stopping this? Oh, I know what it is. I'll tell you what it is coming up. Also, isn't this getting old? And I really mean this. Isn't it getting old? That's the thought I had today. Not that this is not a big deal. This is a huge deal. But isn't this getting old to you? In other words, it's unbelievable how this keeps happening. Like, it's insane. How do we fix that? How do we stop it? I'll tell you what I think. And the answer ain't taking away our guns. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chime in right now. Lines wide open. 800-288-9227. We'll give you the full details on what the sheriff did and when he visited this now arrested school shooter a year and a half ago, almost a year and a half ago when he was 13. Next at 33 after the hour on the Chris Krok Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Did he ever say anything?
No, he never really talked. He was pretty quiet. He wasn't there most times. Either he just didn't come to school or he just would skip class. But even when he would have talked, it was one-word answers or just short statements.
You told me off camera you weren't surprised that he would be the shooter. Why is that? Just because when you think of like shooters and how they act or things that they do, it's usually the quiet kid, or like that's a stereotype for it to be, and he was the one that fit that description in our class.
So there you have it from one classmate. Reports that the classroom reports from parents, the one parent whose son was killed, according to her. The shooter's a 14-year-old named Colt Gray. And the victim, according to a mother, the first victim named by the mom is Mason Schmermahorn, who is on my Twitter feed along with audio from the clearing of a classroom. And he targeted a special ed classroom. So was he special ed? I don't know. But we find out now the sheriff was tipped off by the FBI a year and a half ago, basically May of last year. Pictures of guns, threats of killing people in the school. And so the FBI called the sheriff. Sheriff visited there in I think it's Barrow County, which is where Winder, Georgia is, an hour northeast outside of Atlanta. About 10 miles from Tequila, where I I used to live in Atlanta, did a show in Atlanta for a couple of years, and my father-in-law lived there for several years, and we visited in Tequila. I'm very familiar with it. It's Gwinnett County, one of the major metro counties, so they're about 10 miles from there. So they're definitely not too far outside of the metro area. Now, they're going to charge him as an adult. I hope he gets the death penalty if convicted. But he was 13, and the sheriff visited, and guess what? They checked with dad, they checked with the kid, and they said, you know what? Yeah, there's guns, the dad said, but they're hunting rifles or hunting guns, and they're locked up. Everything's fine. No worries. So the sheriff said, listen, you be sure to let him finish that job, kill some kids, kill some teachers maybe, shoot 9 more people, and then we're going to act surprised, and we're going to say we're shocked and we see evil today. That's what the sheriff said. My you-know-what, according to what I'm learning tonight. And same thing with you, FBI. Here's what the FBI's job is for school shootings. It's to find out there's going to be a school shooting and then to let it happen. And then come in afterwards with a great team to do investigatory work. Yeah! So the FBI can't protect us. The Secret Service can't protect our president. The sheriff can't protect the kids. So what is the answer? Meanwhile, Kamala says the problem is gun violence.
We've got to stop it. And we have to end this epidemic of gun violence in our country once and for all. You know, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way.
Exactly. We need to take away Chris Krok's guns and WBAP listeners' guns because, while she supports a mandatory confiscation of guns, she calls it a buyback program, but it's at the end of a barrel of a gun from the government at your door demanding your guns or you're going to jail or God knows what. So anyway, what's the answer to this? Do you think, first of all, do you think this is gun violence as Kamala and Joe called it today? Or do you think this is people committing violence, terrorists committing violence, as I think? And do you think, what do you think is the answer to stopping these? I'm going to tell you what the answer is. It's hardening the schools. How? Not by freaking stupid metal detectors that are a joke and don't do squat. Not by clear backpacks, which literally do nothing. It actually raises the increase of things happening with a false sense of security. According to multiple studies that was reported on Channel 8 WFA, they interviewed experts, including former Dallas Police Chief Kunkel, who is now a security consultant who's hired by many. I believe DISD uses him too as a security consultant. It's not the answer. Detectors don't do squat. They get them into the windows. God knows what. The answer is hardening the schools. How? I'm not against cops being hired. I'm not against cops being in the schools. I'm not against that. Here's what I am against. I'm not against. I'm for. I want our teachers to be armed. The teachers that are approved by the school board, by the state, and by their county, whatever it is, like we have here in Texas, allow teachers to carry. That's how you're going to harden it. Two school cops were there. They showed up. The moment he did, he stopped and surrendered. Great. Harden the schools further. You can't stop this from happening ever, but you can harden them further so you get these people to be popped and dropped before they get a shot off, or maybe they get one shot off, not 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. And ungodly behavior, unlike Uvalde, where they hide and let the terrorists do the job and finish everything and kill kids off and teachers off over an hour of time. Those sick jerkety jerks need to lose their licenses for practicing law and need to be put in jail. The ones charged, I agree with. So here's my questions for you. What do you think the answer is to stopping these shootings at schools? And do you think this is gun violence or people committing violence? And isn't this getting old to you? And not saying old as in blasé, passé, but old as in, it's unbelievable how this keeps freaking happening over and over and over again. Gianna, you've called in at 800-288-WBAP. That's 800-288-9227. You should chime in right now. We have 4 or 5 minutes to take your call. Get on right now. Gianna in Garland, you are on WBAP. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Chris?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. 2 comments. One, a lot of these problems are mental issues. They're either stemming from problems at home or just mental issues. A lot of these kids, I blame Obama. This goes back to when he was in office because everybody had to be a winner. Everybody got trophies. Oh, the kids nowadays don't know how to handle diversity. They don't know how to be told no. These college kids have to have a special room to cry in when something goes wrong. And then also, I agree with you on the teachers being armed. The more the merrier. Nobody's going to take my weapon, that's for sure.
You know what's stunning to me and angering to me? What is stunning to me and angering to me is even listening to somebody who I am a fan of, Martha McCallum, and one of the Fox News experts, Paul Moreau, former New York City detective, and many things he's an expert on. And I like him a lot. But they talked about arming and hiring police officers that are retired. That most of them serve 25 years and then are retired. They're still young. That's great. I'm not against that. But they said nothing about arming the teachers. And it's a glaring, obvious hole. And it's ridiculous that they didn't even bring it up, because that's exactly what needs to happen. The more law-abiding and trained people that are in these schools, the more we'll stop them. What happened when 2 armed cops greeted him? He surrendered and stopped. If he didn't, they would have shot him and killed him on the spot at the moment, running towards the threat. What happens if a teacher who is armed and trained and authorized to carry in that classroom, while he does it, pops and drops him? It's over. Or he surrenders. This is how it's got to be. There's no other option.
I agree. It's just everybody has gotten to, it's just crazy. Stuff has gotten way out of hand, and my children are grown. But if I had kids in a school environment, I know I would feel a lot easier knowing that, hey, that teacher has a weapon, than trying to depend. This is nothing against the school resource officers.
Of course not.
I think there need to be a lot more in the schools, because they're outnumbered. I have no problem with retired officers or even retired veterans that are...
As long they cannot just be veterans to do that. I'm telling you, it is insane how veterans, whether they be military, police or not, have no idea, and I'm not knocking them. This comes from my dad was a military police officer. This comes from one I just talked to a couple of weeks ago. They're like, yeah, you do not want any veteran protecting people who are doing police work here unless they're trained here to do it. You have to wipe out your memory of everything you did there. Everything you did there is wrong. Because listen, when you are on the military base, when you're a member of the military, you are not subject to search and seizure rules or laws. You are not subject to the Constitution. You are subject to the military's rules, and you are arrested. And you don't need warrants for a lot of this stuff. There is so much different. You put in somebody in the military, you got military, you're in. You will see your rights violated and your child's rights violated, and possibly a disaster happen. They must be reprogrammed and retrained. I'm telling you, people don't know that, and it's important to mention that. Sorry to get all whatever, but it's one of my passionate things that people.
No, you made a very valid point, and I just wanted to also add that our society as a whole, everything has just gotten to where I think a lot of it has to do with the parenting at home. The parents are too busy doing this or that, and they're not paying attention to
what do you do? What do you do? We have people that we know here in North Texas whose child was suicidal, and they had several weapons in their house. What do you do when you're told by the FBI and the sheriff who comes to your door that your son has pictures of guns and is putting online threats to kill people in the school? Do you get the guns out of your house? What do you do?
Well, I would.
What do you say? No, they're locked up. Yeah. I'm a hunter. You get every freaking gun out of your house, because it's no longer about your First Amendment, your Second Amendment right. It's about protecting your freaking kid. And everybody.
And everyone else's kids.
That's exactly right. So, I'm telling you, if I ever felt that my child was going to harm her or himself or somebody else, those guns would be gone. They'd be at somebody's house, locked up in someone else's house that is nowhere near the vicinity, walking distance, or a 1 mile radius of my house. They'd be locked up in a friend's house with a key, a safe, or something where they would never know where it is or how to get them.
And then get medical treatment to find out what's going on in that little brain up there.
Yes, of course, yes. And you know what? You have unequivocally, yes, including hospitalization for psychiatric. It is what it is. But last but not least, if your child is suicidal, for example, I told one of my friends who had a situation, I said, you get every knife out of there. Well, how do I cut things? You want your kid dead? And that's what had to happen. Every sharp object in the entire house, the things you wouldn't even think of in a bathroom, seashells. The parent was mocked for having sharp seashells in a seashell little jar. So, and the kid mocked the parent over that. Like, didn't you know that? And it's like, there are things we don't even realize. So if you do that for your kid to keep him from killing himself, then why in God's name would you not do that for a weapon when the sheriff has come to your dang door and the FBI has told you and your kid's threatening with pictures of your guns to kill people at your school? This is on the freaking parent, and it needs to be hardened in schools as well. That is it. Great call, Gina. Thank you, John, and thank you for stimulating me again. Woo, you woke me up.
Not a problem.
All right, thank you.
I love your show.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate you so much. All right, coming up next on the Chris Krok Show, we're going to chime in again. I want to hear from you on another school shooting in Georgia, and Kamala and Joe's reaction today saying, gun violence! Guns kill people, not people. Gun violence! These guns jump up and kill people! Or is it people violence? And what is the answer to stopping these? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Secondarily, I'm going to chime in. We're not going to chime in. We're going to tune in. We're going to drop in and out for the whole time of the town hall tonight on Fox. Shawn Hannity with Trump at a town hall in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Why? Oh, because Kamala was supposed to be debating Trump tonight on the stage with Fox News and Donald Trump tonight. She refused, so Fox News held a town hall instead in the swing state of Pennsylvania. Oh, by the way, also breaking moments ago, Liz Cheney is saying that she will vote for Kamala Harris. Wait till you hear what Liz Cheney said just a couple years ago about how horrible Kamala was, how much of a threat to our country, our prosperity, and our safety she is. And suddenly, the woman who will destroy this country is now better than Trump, who 4 years under him were amazing, prosperous, safe, free, no wars. Let's tear down our country and destroy our country and put the free world in jeopardy so that Orange Man can't be elected. I'm not surprised that Liz Cheney said that tonight. Anything to stop Trump, even destroying this nation. That is called Trump derangement syndrome. We have 3 lines open. Chime in right now. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. More information on the school shooting, more audio, and your reaction, what the answer is to stopping it, and live for the town hall next. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We got one line open. Chime in right now, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We have this, the pictures that the terrorist arrested for shooting and killing 4 people and hitting 9 additional people, wounding them, was flagged a year and a half ago by the FBI. There were pictures of handguns, or hunting guns, not handguns, or guns of some sort. He was making threats. The FBI found it online somehow, or had it reported to them. They told the sheriff. They pinged the threats actually to Georgia. They told the sheriff of the county it was in, which is this county, and they sent the sheriff to the door. The cops said, we have hunting guns, and they're in the house, but he has no unsupervised access to them at 13. Well, a year and a half ago, the sheriff and the FBI wanted to make sure he finished the job. Here he is today getting arrested, and they'll charge him as an adult with 4 people dead. Some reports saying a special needs class room was targeted. We're gonna chime in with Trump for a quick second. Then we go to your call. Actually, we'll chime into Trump coming up next. Let's go right now to your call on the school shooting. at what's our number? 800-288-WBAP. And let's go to, you want Ed first? Ed in Dallas, you're on WBAP.
Hey, thanks, Chris.
Welcome.
I just wanted to call out, as I think of recent mass shootings or high visibility shootings, a lot of them have some type of government connection already.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about the FBI and the sheriff here, the Trump Secret Service failure. I remember you covered the Maine National Guard shooting. That was a couple of years ago. That was a soldier that had been tagged that he needed mental health care. Didn't get it. Of course, there's Vivaldi with all of those officers, but seemingly none of them taking action. And then I think, again, a couple of years ago, there was a Texas church shooting here where a guy bought a weapon, went through the background check.
The one from the Air Force who had domestics in Colorado, came here, and the Air Force never put it in the system, so they couldn't buy a weapon. They wanted him to be able to continue the abuse of his wife and maybe finish the job and kill a lot of people. So there you go. The Air Force is also in on this, making sure terrorists get their victims and kill people.
So,
and it was a former NRA instructor who came out barefoot with an AR-15 and went after him, shot him, stopped the continued shooting, and then we're getting a lot of static from you. I'm going to let you go, brother. And then there we go. And then chased him in a car. A suspect or a person saw him shooting at the guy, and he said, "Get me in the car." The guy took him. They chased after the suspect until he ran off the road. Then he was in a standoff and was killed. That's what we got on that. Okay, coming up next, we got Thomas in Cleburne. We have Randy in Rockwall. Randy worked in the school, and it's going to be very interesting what he has to say. Ooh, he says it's the parents. I agree. I can't wait to hear that from him. And Thomas in Cleburne says they're going to throw the book at the parents. Well, I hope they do. Or are they? That's what they need to do. All that is coming up next. Plus your call. 3 lines open. 800-288-WBAP. 800-288-9227. We will hear from Trump chiming in the town hall a little bit, too, with Hannity tonight instead of a debate because Kamala ducked it. That is next on the Chris Krok Show on WBAP.